again. I know. When the heck did that happen? Originally, I was planning to make an episode about my friend visiting me in Australia, but with the backlog of footage that I have, and honestly, just how much life has happened recently, I wanted to make something a little more current. Something more aligned with where I'm actually at right now. Don't worry though, we'll definitely get to that in a later episode. So, it's been about 3 weeks of me living here in this new place as I'm filming this, and it's definitely been a transition. It all started with the agreement that Jason and I had before moving in together. He was originally only looking for a housemate up until around March or April when his fiancée Carmen was supposed to move to Melbourne from Dublin. At the time, I did ask Jason if there was any possibility of me extending my stay up until July when I would be visiting my family again, because honestly, I didn't know if I could find a short-term sublet that would match my timeline. He told me that it would ultimately be up to Carmen, which I completely understood. And I'm not really sure why I was nervous to meet Carmen, but I was. It's funny because I knew that if she was someone that Jason loved, she was probably gonna be a lovely person to be around. And honestly, that intuition was right. Meeting Carmen felt surprisingly easy. She's definitely someone that I could talk to for hours about the most random things, and she's definitely got that Irish sense of humor in her too. I think genuine connection is pretty rare, and she's someone where conversation just seemed to flow effortlessly. What started out as 2 people sharing one tiny apartment suddenly became 3 people sharing one very small bathroom. And even though I really loved getting to know Carmen, that didn't stop the dynamic shift from happening. At first it was subtle, and then suddenly all at once. It went from Jason and me to Jason and Carmen plus me. I'd noticed little things, hairbrushes left on my face towelettes, the dish rack constantly overflowing to the point where I didn't really have room to put my own things. And suddenly, I started to feel like I was being pushed out of a place that I once called home. Not intentionally, never maliciously, they were just being a couple. But emotionally, I started to feel like an outsider in a space that used to feel safe to me. And I think that feeling of loss really surprised me more than anything. Now, initially, I didn't want to move, but the more that these feelings started coming up, the more that I realized just how important safety and comfort are to me in my home environment, especially when it comes to creating content. I need to feel free in my space, free to create and free to be. Weirdly enough, those uncomfortable decisions actually showed me why it was that moving was the right decision. Honestly, there are no hard feelings at all. Jason and Carmen are genuinely such wonderful people to be around, and I actually feel so lucky and grateful to have crossed paths with them during my time in Melbourne. Ironically though, by the end of living there, I actually feel like I grew closer to Carmen than Jason, which I did not expect. And if circumstances were different, I definitely would have wished that I had a proper goodbye with them both during the move. But maybe I'll see them again before I leave Melbourne altogether. And now, I live here with Anna, my new housemate, a 21-year-old girl from Brisbane.
Hello you guys. I have moved again, as you guys can tell by this video already, and I'm gonna show you my new place. I am so excited to show you guys this new place that I'm going to try and make feel like home for at least the next 2 months. New place also means new roommate as well, so you'll get to meet my new roommate Anna fairly soon, but that also means that Jason is no longer my roommate, my housemate, and although I'm going to miss having that big brother energy, I'm also welcoming that this is gonna be a girl's house now, and I'm super excited for that female companionship. So when we walk in, we have my room, which I have not unpacked at all. Still got the boxes. The bed actually came with the room. It was furnished, thank God, because to move that bed frame that I made at Jason's house, it's just not gonna be possible. So left that there, new bed here. Got the mirror over here. And then our closet, built-in wardrobe. Anna put these hanging shelves here, and that's going to be so useful just because the amount of clothes that I have. There is this side as well, which I can't open up because I've got the boxes right in front of them, but it's just extra empty space where I can hang my hangers and clothes. Some upper shelf storage. This is just where I've been keeping the sheets. We have the cubicle here. We have extra storage with the drawers over there. And I do want to get something for the walls as well, just to make it more girly. I think I might change the pillow to something else to create a different color scheme. I am kind of feeling the girly girl vibes in here for reasons that you guys will know why after when I show you the other room. But I am feeling like I want to go with a warm baby pink vibe for the decoration in this room. At Jason's place, I didn't really make the effort to make the place very homey by decorating and putting anything on the walls, even though I technically was allowed. But since I've got 2 months left in Melbourne, I want to make the space feel very me and like a place that I enjoy being in and coming home to. Moving on, we walk right outside my room, and across the hall is the bathroom. I find that a lot of the bathrooms here are pretty small in the apartments in Melbourne. Anna's left some space for me up here to put some of my things. She gave me this basket just to put my things in as well if I've got anything extra. There is an indoor washing machine, which I know sounds like an essential for most places, but you'd be surprised in a lot of apartments in Melbourne don't have a washer and a dryer. And actually, in Melbourne, it doesn't seem to be a thing to have an actual dryer in the apartment. It seems like the Australian way here is to have like a hang dryer rack inside the house, but to have the washer only. Anna left this shelf for me, which I am so appreciative of. Then moving on, kitchen. I feel like that's just enough for 2 people to use this space. Anna's got this cute pink toaster and also a pink kettle. And to be honest, I really love this place because everything is all set up already. It just feels like a great space to be in, and Anna herself is so lovely. Just look at this decor that Anna has set up already. It is so adorable, especially in the evening when that lamp gets turned on and you just see this comfy cozy couch that just calls your name to sit on. I just feel like coming home to this setup feels so comforting and cozy. Anna, she's an F1 girly too, so if you can see over there, she's got a whole bunch of F1 cars. There's BMW plate and also posters over here as well. I can't tell you guys how much I really love the work that Anna has done with the decor and making it just a really cozy home. We've got candle collection here, which I'm also excited to add to. Every time that I've come back here, the house just smells amazing and it just feels so welcoming. This is also what I mean. We were at Woolies the other day and she just likes getting flowers for herself and making the space feel more vibrant. Also, Anna has this huge obsession with bees, which I find so adorable. I truly get surprised sometimes the amount of bee items that I find in this place. To be honest, I feel like most of that was babbling and I hope that I was able to trim that down, but I just wanted to share how excited I am to be in this space. And you know, right now it's looking a little bland, but we are going to unpack and spruce up the room in 3, 2, bam. And we have changed the color scheme to something a bit more pink. Everything is folded. Things are hanging that need to be hanging, and just a little bit of storage. Looks pretty good to me, in my opinion. I ordered some things as well with this little touch lamp just for the corners at night. I also ordered pink pillowcase cover and also some posters to make it more feminine and girly. These posters definitely speak to my spiritual side with the angel numbers, but it's just something that I feel like I want to wake up and look to, just something that helps ground me in what I want to remember throughout my day. Plus, you know, it doesn't hurt that it is pink and feminine and very cute to look at. So I think the last thing that I am waiting for is the air purifier, because I do notice that even after vacuuming and trying to clean up the space, that for some reason when I'm in this room for too long, I I start to feel a bit dizzy. So I'm hoping the air purifier will help. I have the window open and I've been sleeping with my front door open as well just to kind of air it out, but on some days I still feel it. So I think the air purifier will be necessary. It's funny, even though this place is a place that I am actually not staying very long in at all, this place compared to the last, I am actually making more of an effort to make a space that I enjoy coming home to. This is something that I will take with me in any future home that I intend to move to at the latter half of this year when I am attempting to do my 88 days of regional work. I have still yet to decide where to go to do my 88 days, but we will figure it out and everything will fall into place. Luckily, during all of this, another friend actually happened to be visiting me and helped me move everything over, but that's a whole separate story for another video. This area is definitely quieter, less bougie than South Yarra, but I honestly really like it here. I feel welcomed in this space with Anna, and it's honestly really comforting to get to do girl things together, like going shopping, running errands, watching movies, eating dinner together.
That actually looks so good. Cheers. Oh, you're right. That is really good. Next level. And it's not even that expensive either.
And having late night random yap sessions.
Yeah, I think we were looking at the same thing. What is that? The one light really high in the sky? Yellow.
Oh, maybe it's Kim Jong-un's missile. Look at the arrow.
Well, I guess we're fucked.
Jong-un's missile.
Is Korea even that way? How do we know?
No, it's over there. Coming from Antarctica.
Release the penguins.
Release the penguins. The penguins made the missile.
Anna is also obsessed with this game called Tamagotchi Life, and if you've never heard of it, it's basically like creating this alternate universe with all these little tiny characters that live their own lives. She made characters for both of us, and somehow Oscar Piastri, the Australian F1 racer, ended up there too, because apparently he's her husband in the game.
Oscar ended up with my character, and I tried to get them to break up, but he chose me.
He's your husband now. Somehow, our characters actually decided to move in together, and their favorite activity together is literally glazing over Bradford, which, if you watch The Rookie on Netflix, you know exactly who that is. Talk about a real-life simulation, because that's actually what we do in real life too. The seasons are also starting to change here in Melbourne. We're technically still in autumn right now, but winter starts next month. And honestly, it already feels like winter half the time. One second it's 18 degrees, and the next thing you know, that Arctic wind hits you. Suddenly, it feels like it's 10 degrees colder than it actually is. So, the further that we get into the year, the colder that it also gets in Melbourne. And we are definitely heading into winter next month, but I did not bring any winter clothes with me, and this is what I get for endlessly chasing summer, because I have nothing to keep me warm. And this blanket is Anna's. It is meant for the living room, and I can't quite take it to bed with me, so girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. We are going to layer up. I constantly leave my window open because if I don't, the air just gets stuffy in here. I feel like I get a bit dizzy, and I've gotten an air purifier to kind of help with that, but it also kind of makes the room colder at the same time. I could buy more blankets, but a girl's also strategizing with how she's using her money, so layering up is probably the #1 option right now. Long socks, obviously. Winter is upon us. I can't remember if I'd already explained the insulation situation in Australian homes, but it's non-existent. Great for the heat in the summertime, not so great for the winters, clearly. One thing that has been keeping me warm though is this ridiculously protein-packed bone broth soup that I've been making on repeat. Alrighty guys, I am back from the gym and it is time to make
my favorite soup recipe that I've been making for like 2 weeks. We have beef mince, not ground beef here, leftover chicken rotisserie, beef stock, bone broth concentrate, eggs, and carrots. I literally feel like I've been making this soup like time and time again. I just am a stickler for eating the same thing if it tastes good, so. I feel like a chef, even though realistically, I'm just tossing things into a pot and then hoping for the best. After doing the carnivore and animal-based diet, I've just found the foods that really work for me and that help me feel good. Not just full, satisfied. And I think there's a difference. Because yes, carbs can absolutely make me feel full, stuffed even sometimes. But somehow, when I eat that way, there's always this lingering craving of wanting more. Whereas meals higher in proteins and whole foods actually has me feeling more connected to my hunger cues. I don't even eat this way to try and hit some insane protein goal. I stop eating when I'm satisfied instead of constantly chasing fullness. And that's been a really big shift for me. Truthfully, besides soup, I think lately I've been trying to find comfort in a lot of different things because life lately has just felt like a series of constant transitions. Moving across the world to Australia, bouncing from apartments to B&Bs, people visiting, people leaving, friendships forming as quickly as they disappear. And now moving to Anna's place, knowing that just when I start feeling settled, I'll be packing up my things and leaving in a few months anyway. Then I'll be going back to Canada for a month, only to leave to do regional work up north to extend my visa. At least, that is the plan. It feels like I'm constantly arriving somewhere just long enough only to leave it again. Even with gyms, I'm constantly switching Anytime Fitness locations depending on where I'm living at the time, trying to figure out which one feels the most like home for the time being. And honestly, I think that's been the weird theme of this season of my life, finding temporary homes in temporary places. Alright guys, random but funny thought. I was just thinking about my time in the gym and the way that people might perceive me, because I feel that naturally I have a very positive, very smiley, very bubbly personality, and when people look at me in the gym, I feel like the music that they probably think that I listen to is some girly pop shit like Ariana Grande, like that kind of vibe. Little do they know that that is not what I listen to. I actually listen to 3 things on rotation in the gym, and that is some electronic music, could be dubstep, could be trap. It almost essentially sounds like a lot of noise and pots and pans to those who don't actually like electronic music. Back in the day when I would separate upper body and lower body workouts, on my upper body days, I would listen to a lot of rap. And if you guys know Keanu Reeves. If you guys know who Logic is, I could rap his song Keanu Reeves and just go really hard in my workout and feel like this boss ass energy that's ready to fuck shit up. But the other thing that I do listen to from time to time is actually cheer music. And if you guys didn't know, cheerleading has actually been a huge part of my identity and huge part of my life throughout high school. With cheer music, if I were to play it out loud, to the people who don't know what cheer music sounds like, it sounds very strange. It's like a whole mashup of different high energy songs and also lyrics and ad-libs that essentially talk about how your team is the best. I really feel nostalgic whenever I listen to cheer music, simply because it brings me back to a time where what cheer really taught me was how to have delusional confidence in yourself and your team and to believe that you are the best. I did cheer for like 7 years. Growing up, And it's almost instant when I listen to that music that it brings out this persona of ultimate confidence and ultimate sass. If you've ever been to a cheer performance that is of the competitive league, you really have to perform and make that judge believe that your team is the fucking best. Your stunts could be falling. You could have just fell on your neck like 2 seconds ago, but you better move your ass and continue with your routine like nothing happened and like you guys are the ones who are gonna be on top. That's something that I really want to be able to embody in more aspects of my day-to-day life, because truth be told, you kind of have to be delusional about what you want and that you'll achieve it. That's the kind of mindset that you have to win life. I think lately I've been feeling a little lost creatively, a little directionless, and listening to that music again has oddly reconnected me with the version of myself that trusted herself more, the version of me that didn't overthink every little thing before trying it. And honestly, I want more of that energy back. So maybe this season is less about having everything figured out and more about learning to trust myself, even while I'm figuring it out. I think it's made me realize just how temporary everything can be. Living situations, friends, workplaces, even past versions of yourself. I think moving abroad can look really glamorous from the outside. Adventure, freedom, expansion, constant novelty. And don't get me wrong, it can absolutely be those things sometimes. But I don't think people talk enough about the messy middle, that weird liminal space where the place that you grew up almost feels distant, almost like a version of yourself that you've outgrown. But at the same time, you haven't stayed somewhere quite long enough to feel fully rooted there either. And you end up existing somewhere in between. And that's kind of where I feel like I am right now. Alrighty, it is time to get ready to wind down for the night. So we're gonna take off all of this makeup. I've really been loving being in this place with Anna. And before Jason, I actually used to live with my partner, and before that, I used to live with another female housemate with my partner, but she was kind of like a butch lesbian, so it's kind of always felt like I've lived with dudes. When I was looking for a place to stay when I had to move out of the place that I was in with Jason, I was actually really scared about having a potential roomie nightmare with a female housemate because, long story short, that ex-roommate that I just told you guys about, she at one point threatened to sue my aunt, who was our landlord at the time. Crazy, I know. Luckily, having a girly, feminine female housemate like Anna has been such an experience because the vibes are just so easy. Disgusting. But this is a sample at work. Is it pronounced Cerave or Cerave? You guys tell me. The only thing about this washroom is that the sink is even tinier than the last, literally half the size. That thing's dry. Alrighty, we are finito with skincare. And now we get to move on to my favorite part of the night. Alright, so hear me out. I know this sounds disgusting, but this stuff is fire. This bone broth hot chocolate has been my favorite way to end the night. The ingredients are things that I can actually get behind. They use things like coconut milk, prebiotic fiber, MCT oil, cocoa powder, no sugar, no stevia, although they do use a bit of allulose. Reishi mushroom, if you guys know your adaptogenic mushrooms, it helps you relax and sleep better at night. And also, of course, the beef bone broth, which you cannot taste at all. You can even use this with just water because it has the coconut milk in there. I did add a bit of A2 milk from here in Australia, and I only started doing that recently, but honestly, even just with water, it tastes so good. There's just something about warm bone broth that feels so comforting. It's high in glycine, glutamine, collagen for your hair, skin, and nails, and also amino acids and electrolytes. I know that some people say that to really reap the benefits, you need to drink liters and liters of bone broth. I have been having the same soup that I showed you guys earlier for the last 2 weeks in a row, twice a day, along with this hot chocolate every night. So honestly, I feel like I'm getting sufficient amounts. And although I don't drink this bone broth specifically for those reasons, I just kind of want soup and enjoy having this hot chocolate at night because it feels like a little treat. It also doesn't hurt that these ingredients and the bone broth actually does right by your health. I think for most of my life, I've always wanted certainty, a plan, stability, a clear answer for where I belong and what comes next. But lately, life has been teaching me that clarity doesn't come from standing still. Sometimes it comes from wandering, from trying things, leaving places, starting over, outgrowing people, sitting in unfamiliar spaces long enough to discover new parts of yourself within them. And maybe feeling lost isn't actually a sign that you're failing. Maybe it's a sign that you're in the middle of becoming. I think curiosity has a way of leading us towards the things that we're meant to find. Even if it doesn't make the most sense while we're living through it. So if you're in that strange in-between season 2, where nothing feels fully certain yet, where you're still trying to figure out your place in this world, subscribe, and maybe we can figure it out together.